Hey guys, today we'll be covering a 2017 romance drama film called Let Me Eat Your Pancreas. Haruki Shiga is a high school teacher. One day, the principal assigns him to help the students arrange the books in the library that have remained unused for several years. Since he was the leader of the library committee in his high school days, he would be the perfect mentor. Haruki accepts the proposal but is skeptical about the job. He has many bittersweet memories related to the library that he doesn't want to dig up. But as soon as he walks into the place, he cannot help but remember someone. A student named Takahiro shows him the classification register they are using to arrange the books. Haruki is surprised they are still using the register he made 12 years ago. When Takahiro asks if he did all the work alone in his school days, Haruki tells him of an annoying assistant he had. The story shifts to a flashback. The assistant's name is Sakura, a popular girl who is known for having a beautiful smile. She isn't very good at her work and misplaces books frequently. One day while working, she tells Haruki that she wants to eat his pancreas. Accustomed to her strange frequent comments, Haruki asks her if she's turning into a cannibal. Sakura has heard on TV that if a person with a dysfunctional organ eats the corresponding part of an animal, they will be cured. Since her pancreas is infected, she jokes about eating his. She then hands him her favorite book, asking him to read it carefully. On Haruki's way back home, he remembers the day he was in a hospital lobby. He saw a diary lying on the floor and read it to find that someone with an incurable disease had written it. The person has very little time to live and hasn't told anybody but their parents. Sakura approached him seconds later and told him the diary was hers. She was smiling as usual, which seemed strange to Haruki. He didn't react to her saying she was about to die, but deep inside, he was shaken by it. Then one day, Sakura comes to the library declaring her candidacy as his assistant. He promises never to tell her secret to anyone, assuming that she is afraid that he will. But Sakura clarifies that she applied for the candidacy only because the work looked fun. She makes a lot of mistakes while classifying the books, which Haruki hates. According to her, if a person finds a book after searching for it for a while, the book will be like a reward to them, so she likes making mistakes in the arrangements. Haruki asks her why she is working at the library when she only has so few years of her life left. In turn, Sakura asks him the same question. He might get into an accident or be murdered by a burglar tomorrow, so why is he working at the library today? The statement makes Haruki go quiet. Sakura then invites him to a restaurant the next day. Although he doesn't want to go, she doesn't give him a chance to refuse. They meet at a restaurant that is Sakura and Kyoko's favorite. Haruki knows Kyoko as the girl who is always with Sakura at school. They have been best friends since middle school and love each other dearly. But instead of her, Sakura wanted to come with Haruki to the restaurant today. After the date, Haruki gets a text from her saying that she enjoyed the day thoroughly and will definitely write about it in her journal. Haruki gets nervous and asks her not to write his name. Sakura, who had already written it, crosses it out and starts referring to him as Mr. Get Along Well. The next day, Kyoko finds out about Sakura's date with Haruki and is furious. She thinks Haruki is trying to break her best friend's heart and asks him to stay away from her. This causes people to believe that the two are dating. Haruki storms off to the terrace while being followed by Sakura. He wants her to tell Kyoko about the disease and spend time with her instead of him. But Sakura is adamant about keeping it a secret until the day she dies. She doesn't want her best friend to cry every time they meet and wants to make good memories with her. The next day, Sakura forcefully brings Haruki on a train trip. She has lied to her parents for the first time and has said that she is with Kyoko. She shows Haruki a list of things she wants to do before her death, one of which includes going on a trip with a guy who is not her boyfriend. They go to different places, eat delicious food, and spend time together for most of the day. Eventually, they reach a temple where Sakura assumes Haruki wishes for her fast recovery. She laughs it off, saying that she has stopped wishing for things that won't happen. Instead, she wants Haruki, Kyoko, and her parents to always be happy, with or without her. At night, they check into an expensive hotel that is too lavish for Haruki, but he agrees to go because Kyoko wishes to spend all her savings before her death. Because of an employee's mistake, their room is upgraded to the presidential suite, but they will have to share it. While Haruki is not a fan of the idea, Sakura is filled with excitement. She notices his awkwardness and teases him by suggesting they sleep on the same bed. Later, they play Truth or Dare, but with a twist. The one who draws the smaller card will have to answer. For the first few rounds, Haruki draws the smaller ones. Sakura asks him who in the class is the prettiest. Haruki efficiently dodges all the questions and ranks her the third most beautiful out of the girls in their class. As a dare, Haruki has to pick her up and put her to bed. She asks him if she tells him she is scared of dying, what would he do? But Haruki has no answer, mostly because there isn't much he can do. They sleep beside each other for the night. The next morning, Sakura gets a call from Kyoko and tells her where she is. A surprised Kyoko claims that she will kill Haruki if he hurts her best friend. Sakura wants Haruki and Kyoko to be friends, so they will have each other after her death. One day at school, Sakura's ex-boyfriend comes looking for her in the library. He asks Haruki about her, but but it turns out she hasn't come to the library for the past few days. Later, she texts Haruki and invites him to her house. He nervously goes to find her alone. She asks him if he sees her as more than a friend, to which Haruki says he doesn't. Impressed with the answer, she hugs him, saying that it was on her list to hug someone who was not her boyfriend. Haruki panics and pushes her to the ground, asking her to stop. He suddenly realizes that he was too harsh and runs away. Outside the house, he again encounters Sakura's ex-boyfriend. The guy punches him for being in Sakura's house. But before he does more harm, she comes to Haruki's rescue. She orders her ex-boyfriend to stay away and brings Haruki inside again. He apologizes for what happened earlier and leaves after changing into her father's clothes. A few days later, Kyoko approaches Haruki, accusing him of bringing bad luck because Sakura was admitted to the hospital. Haruki panics and runs to her. A surprised Sakura refuses to look at him because she is not presentable. For the next hour, he helps her with her lessons that she missed at school. Before he leaves, Sakura again asks him to befriend Kyoko, unaware that she is listening to their conversation from the doorway. In the following scene, Sakura and Haruki are on a call. Sakura's stay at the hospital has been extended, but she really wants to see the cherry blossoms. Haruki hears the pain in her voice and assumes something is wrong. Even though it is the middle of the night, he rushes to the hospital to see her. For the first time, Haruki seems desperate to stop her from dying. He asks her not to die yet because he is not ready to let go. Overwhelmed by his reaction, Sakura hugs him. He promises to take her to see the cherry blossoms when she gets better. A few weeks later, Haruki gets a text from her. She is finally being discharged the next day and wants to go out with him. He excitedly looks for places where they can see cherry blossoms this time of year. The following day, he waits for her at her favorite restaurant while writing a list of the things they will do together. While he is at it, Sakura texts him, asking him to wait a bit longer so she can go home to change clothes. Haruki patiently waits for her for hours, but she doesn't arrive. When he is sure that she won't be coming, he returns home. On his way, he is met with the biggest shock of his life. A billboard is showing breaking news about an armed robbery in the streets of Tokyo. 17-year-old Sakura was stabbed to death by the robbers, who left her body on the road and ran away. Haruki remembers that she once told him that anyone could die at any moment from a robber's attack. Never in a million years would he have thought that she would be the victim of such an attack. He calls himself a fool for thinking he could make her last days better. A few days pass, but Haruki cannot bring himself to go to her funeral. In fact, he doesn't come out of his room for an entire month after her death. Strangely enough, he doesn't shed a single tear. Then, on the 1-month anniversary of her death, he gathers the courage to go to her house. Sakura's mother finds out that he knew about her disease and is shocked. When Sakura was hospitalized, she had asked her mother to give the journal to the one person who knew about it. She had said that he wouldn't come to the funeral because he's a coward, but was confident he would visit her home one day. Haruki opens the journal and starts reading everything she has written about him. It starts off by saying that when Sakura saw him in the hospital lobby with her journal, she panicked. But seeing him react normally made her curious about him. It was like she finally found someone she didn't have to lie to. She made mistakes in the library, so he would pay attention to her. The truth is that she was scared of death up until the very moment she died, but she never showed it to Haruki. When she was in the hospital, she couldn't move for days and hadn't eaten for weeks. She knew death was near, so she insisted to her parents to let her go out one last time to see the cherry blossoms. The journal ends there because she never returned from the trip. Haruki breaks down crying for the first time after reading the journal. Back in the present, he is telling his student Takahiro the story. At home, Haruki has received an invitation letter from Kyoko for her wedding. He doesn't want to go because seeing her would hurt him even more. Kyoko, on the other hand, misses her friend. She talks to her fiancé about Sakura almost every day, wishing she could attend the wedding. On her wedding day, Haruki is at the school. Takahiro gives him some papers he found in the library that has Sakura's writing on them. The papers seem to be some kind of hint. Suddenly, Haruki remembers that she wanted the books to be arranged like a treasure hunt. Upon solving the clues, he finds the book that she had once lent him. Inside it are 2 letters, one for Kyoko and one for him. Haruki runs to Kyoko's wedding and gives the letter to her. In it, Sakura has apologized for not telling her about the disease. She says that she loves her very much and wants her to get married to a handsome man and have adorable babies. Kyoko breaks into tears as her husband comforts her. In the following scene, we see Haruki reading his letter. In the letter, Sakura scolds him for taking so long to find it. She also praises him for being strong and never needing anyone to be happy. She wishes she was more like him. She wants him to live his life to the fullest, marry a woman, hold her hand, reach out to as many people as he can, and always be happy. As the movie ends, it is revealed that Sakura never wanted to be someone special to Haruki, because then God would have taken away something special from him.